Hi, this is Donna Taggert. I'm the dietitian for Department of Aging and Human Services. So healthy eating is important at every age, but as we age, we tend to consume a lot less calories, but at a time when we actually need a lot more of certain nutrients. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans is released every 5 years. The most recent is 2020 to 2025, and in it they recommend the intakes for each age group, and then they highlight the current intakes and how they align with the actual dietary guideline recommendations. So on this chart here, this is the current intakes for seniors age 65 and up. I'll explain it to you. This little number here, 63, is the healthy eating index. Based on 100, 63, not so great. Over here, the blue lines are the recommended intake, and then the purple is where you actually are. So this is men and women, and for total vegetable consumption, you can see they're falling, both men and women fall behind. In total fruit, they're falling behind. In total grains, the men do okay. Women are a little low on total grains. This is a really significant area here. The total dairy, both men and women very low, not meeting the recommended guidelines. And then for total protein, the men are doing okay. Women are a little falling short on total protein. Now these circles down below are indicating the percent exceeding limits of added sugar, saturated fat, and sodium. And they're over all of them. Men, 54% more of added sugar, women 58%. Saturated fat, men are 80, women are at 77% exceeding the limit. And then sodium, yikes, men 94% exceeding limit. No surprise, it's hard to avoid sodium these days. And then women are at 72%. So, sadly, on the average, us seniors are really not eating as healthy as we need to, considering that eating healthy can help decrease the risk of heart disease, diabetes, certain cancers, dementia, health conditions that are related to changes in our bone and muscle mass. Bones would be osteoporosis, muscle mass would be sarcopenia. So let's first review, what are we supposed to be getting? Lots of fruits and vegetables, as obvious we're not, 7 to 9 to 11 servings a day. We need whole grains, at least 3 a day out of the 6 grains that we might be eating. Legumes, 3 times a week. Fatty fishes, twice a week. Dairy, 3 servings a day, and this comes out of a big study on bone health for seniors that they recommend at least 3 servings of dairy. Lean protein should be about 6 ounces a day. So, but what nutrients are we actually need more of than when we were younger? And there could be numerous reasons for that. Changes in our metabolism, decreased absorption, often on multiple medications that can interfere absorption of nutrients, changes in our body composition, vision changes, our taste changes, trouble swallowing. All these things can affect how we eat, how much we eat, and therefore how many of the nutrients are we taking in. So number 1 is protein. That is something that we need more of as we age. As a regular adult before we reach the age of 65, they recommend 0.8 kilograms per body, 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. That jumps to 1 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. Now what does that mean? A 50-pound person, you have to convert that to kilograms, so you divide by 2.2. That gives you 68. 68 times 1 is 68, and 68 times 1.2 is 81. So adult over 65, a 150-pound person would need between 68 and 81 grams of protein, whereas in the past they would need a lot less if they were younger. And why? Protein is important. It helps maintain our muscle mass, it helps keep our body strong, supports our immune system, helps fight off diseases, helps our blood carry oxygen to other parts of the body. So protein is really important. And sometimes it's hard. Breakfast is a challenging meal for a lot of people to get the protein. 1, they may be skipping breakfast. 2, they may be drinking a cup of coffee and a donut. That's not going to be any protein. So I always recommend try to get 25 to 30 grams of protein at each meal. Read labels. They're going to tell you if there's a label on something, it's going to tell you how much protein. The recommendation for those glasses of dairy or the servings of dairy, can help with protein because there's 8 grams in a glass of milk. There can be 10, 12, 16 grams of protein in yogurts, depending on the type of yogurt. So you just have to be mindful about that protein. If you're a vegan, sometimes that's harder to get the protein. Plant-based proteins aren't as plentiful as the ones from animal products. And then a protein powder might be appropriate. Caution about protein powders. They can be tainted with toxins and different things. So there's a website, go to cleanlabelproject.org. They report on toxins and protein powders. They screened 134 protein powders. So that's a significant amount. Hopefully yours is in that list and you can see if it makes a grade or not for that. Protein is something we need to get regularly spaced out through the day rather than all at one meal. If you need to know more about protein, go back in the archives. I'm sure it's back there somewhere where there's a whole thing I did on protein. Linked with animal protein is the vitamin B12. It's only found in animal products. So if you're a vegan, you're not eating any animal products, you definitely will need to do a supplementation of vitamin B12. Our ability to absorb B12 as we age goes down. There's a little thing in our stomach that helps the B12 get into our system, and again, it doesn't work as well. If you're on a lot of things for acid reflux, sometimes that can interfere with how well that little thing works in our stomach to absorb the B12. So again, about 20% of adults don't get enough B12. That's something that you can talk with a doctor. Supplements are okay, but if you're having trouble absorbing it, you might need an injection of B12. So that's, again, discuss that with your doctor. Vitamin D, another thing that goes up in the need as we age. Regular amount is 600 IUs per day, but after the age of 70, we need up to 800 IUs a day. Most of vitamin D comes from the sun hitting our skin. We have a type of cholesterol in our skin that converts the sunlight hits it and converts it to vitamin D. And we don't get as much sun, especially in the winter, if you're putting sunscreen on in the summertime. So stinking hot sometimes, you don't even want to go outside. So again, vitamin D can be an issue. The doctor can check your blood levels for it and then maybe recommend a supplement if necessary. Because again, not many foods have a lot of vitamin D in them, yet we need more of it. Fluids can be a struggle. We lose our sense of thirst when we get older, and sometimes we're just not drinking because we're like, I don't want to have to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom. So fluids, you want to stay hydrated. And again, I just tell people, if you look at your urine and it's really dark, concentrated, you might not be getting enough fluid. Again, something to discuss with your doctor as well. Calcium is something else we need more of when we age. 1,000 milligrams jumps up to 1,200 milligrams, especially for women after the age of 50. Calcium is good for our bones, of course, but it also plays a role in guarding against some cancers. It's crucial in diabetes, high blood pressure. So calcium is more than just our bones. The recommendations of 3 servings a day will help towards that, but it might not be quite enough. You might have to, again, look into some other sources of calcium or a calcium supplement. I'm always for trying to get whatever you need through the food first, and then if you just cannot do it, then you can resort to a supplement. But you have to be careful with them. Make sure they're a well-known brand. Check for purity, and make sure that, they have what they say are in them. So it's important to check that all out. Non-dairy sources of calcium, plant-based milks and stuff will have calcium put in it. Shake it up good because it's not naturally occurring, so it tends to settle out and will be at the bottom of your jug or whatever, and then you're not getting the calcium that you think you are. So calcium's important too. And then there are other nutrients that we don't need necessarily more of as we age, but we just don't get enough because we don't intake enough of certain foods. Remember back to this chart? What were we low in? The dairy, but also in the fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables contain a lot of potassium, and that's one that we tend to be low in. It helps with fluid balance, heart, muscle, nervous system, so it's really important. And most potassium can be found in fruits and vegetables, nuts and dairy too, but again, fruits and vegetables are big key to getting a lot of nutrients, including fiber, which we need a lot more as we age. Men over 50 need 28 grams. Women need 23 grams. Fiber is needed obviously for our bowel movements, but also decreases the risk of cardiovascular disease. It's linked with gut health, which ironically then is linked to our brain and our bone health. So fiber-rich foods, every meal, that's important. If you just don't get enough fiber and you want to try a fiber supplement, that's fine, but go slow. Plenty of water and go slow so your gut can get used to it. Otherwise, you might not be feeling so great with fiber. But fiber is in your fruits and your vegetables, your whole grains, your nuts, your seeds. Those are excellent ways to get fiber. So every meal, just make sure you got something with fiber. The slogan for the dietary guidelines this 5-year period is make every bite count. How important that is for us seniors. We've got to make every bite count because we need a lot more things and we don't always eat as much as we should. So there are some things I'm going to put sort of PDFs that you could print out if you're interested. They're from the myplate.gov. One is healthy eating for older adults. Another one is start simple with my plate, again from myplate.gov. This you can tailor to you. You can put your age, your height, your weight, your activity levels, and then it will print out a chart of just how many of all these fruits, vegetables, dairy, all the things you might need, how much do you need for you in particular. It really customizes that. And the other thing is start simple with My Plate. It's an app for your phone. It's really interactive. You can set healthy try to get healthy habits going by setting healthy goals. It will in real time help you see if you're actually meeting those goals or not when you input what you're doing. So that's a really good tool. So hopefully you can start making every bite count. And I will see you back here in a month when we talk about inflammation and just what foods can help decrease that nasty chronic inflammation that's so linked to a lot of chronic diseases. See ya.